This is in the comments to a Surf's video about the latest marketing campaign from Caleb Maupin, just in time for his book to come out about how BreadTube serves imperialism, you see. He has announced that BreadTube is trying to assassinate him. There's nothing at all convenient about that time. Okay. Now, we're gonna just have a look. I'm not gonna play don't worry, I'm not gonna play the entire speech over, and that's once is enough for that. It's really does not bear repeating. What is interesting, though, is if we look at these interesting fellows that he's sitting next to, of which we've got Julien Rochdy of the Fascist National Front, France. Another far-right French figure right there, the gray-haired fellow, that's Emmanuel Leroy Ladurie. Here, we can show you the pictures. And then we've also got another, let me see, what was he involved in? Let me just check. This is Leonid Savin, and he's of Nouvelle Droite, another French far-right group. So, yeah, so he's surrounded himself with Russian and French fash, and Russian-French fash here. I mean, a lot of people recognize Dugin. Dugin was actually the only one I recognized. But, nobody else had really looked into these other people, at least, and I hadn't recognized them. But, I'm just gonna have to give a little hat tip to Rika, in the Surf's comment thread, who pointed all this out. I had not recognized any of these people. But, yeah, looking at the pictures, it definitely checks out. So, basically, it is not just him with one fascist and a bunch of innocuous people. It is a room full of fascists. Mostly French, with a little bit of overlap with Russia. So, yeah, that's the kind of company he happily keeps and sucks up to. I just thought that it would be a good idea to bring that up, since that was pointed out. And since it checks out, now, if you were wondering about these other people, I kind of had been. I didn't recognize any of them. Yeah, so we've got from left to right, and in this case, even the farthest left is still way on the right. We've got Julien Rochdy, Leonid Savin, Aleksandr Dugin, Caleb Maupin, and Emmanuel Leroy Dingsbums Ladurie. Bloody long name. All fash, all the time. So, yes. I wonder if he's going to talk about that in his book about BreadTube and the conveniently timed announcement that there's this supposed plot to assassinate him. Somehow, I don't think so. It's interesting. He plays sort of interesting double game, because if you remember, for when we were looking at his speech to the fascist Eurasian movement, his presentation, his entire political presentation, is totally different depending on what kind of audience he's with. When he's talking to naive leftists, who he wants to make think he's an authority on communism and Marxism and all this, he talks one way. When he's talking to just fash, he completely changes his entire presentation, his entire political identification. Suddenly, he doesn't want to say anything about communism. He wants to, or just the smallest bit he can get away with, and instead talk about, Huey Long and how he's a populist. He's I mean, I really think that this is a very deliberate marketing ploy on his part. It seems like every single bit about the way he does these things is in the absolute worst of faith. So, okay, just wanted to update you on that since somebody pointed it out, and pointed out also that so few people seem to be mentioning it. So, now we know a little bit more about the sort of people he hangs out with at NazBol conferences. Good to know.